Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Get my sound working. There's Richard. Okay, I'm not having any sound on this for some reason. Oh, that's because you guys are muted. Duh.
Yeah. You're the head of the meeting.
Oh.
It's been like this, Richard, since day one.
Yeah. What fun, huh?
Yeah.
We've been having a lot of fun. We have, haven't we?
Yes.
Challenges.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely. So there's
Hello,
Jeff.
Jeff. How are you feeling?
There's Mark.
Hi, Mark.
I have to unmute him.
Oh, you got to unmute everybody.
I
Yeah,
don't
because
know
you're
why.
the head of the.
Okay. All right.
Should be a little like a hover thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can unmute them. It's just, let's see right now, when they come in there, and it's how I set it up, and that was my fault.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So Jeff's actually done more Zoom meetings than I ever have. He works from home right now.
There he is.
Yeah, so that's why
How you feeling, Jeff?
You doing good?
How you feeling,
Jeff?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Good morning.
Good. Good.
Good. So we'll wait a little bit longer to see if anyone else is going to jump in. I kind of thought Mavis would be here.
I thought there'd be all kinds of people on this.
Oh, I think there'll probably be more coming in, probably a little later.
Perhaps. And if we probably will have to do this, more than once. But
yeah.
We wanted to give you guys an opportunity to hear what's going on and ask your questions. And were you guys able to take a look at the pages that we pointed out with the instructions and the pages on the website?
I haven't looked at the website yet. I just saw this, the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Me too.
Good.
All
That's
right.
even better because we have some people that have seen it, some that haven't. So
some who have tested the software as it was in the very beginning, which was not good. And so, yeah, Mark, you did help them, didn't you?
I think I did do something with the kind of.
Yeah, well, it didn't go very far because it was very difficult to use. So we've made some changes, huge changes, and we're hoping that it's going to make things easier for you guys.
Hopefully. I think it will.
Yeah, I know. It made it easier for us.
And we still got more coming.
Right. We're a few days out from the final delivery of what we've asked for, and so far that covers what our needs, and it's enough to run a championship with. So we want to see how it is for you guys and how easy it is for you to actually make an entry. So it's going to be like we did before, where it doesn't cost anything for the entry. We don't have to confirm if that works. We know it does. But what we want to know is if it's easy for you to do the entry. There's some planning that needs to be done for those who are going to enter. They're going to need to have their pictures ready to go and the descriptions that they want for their pictures pretty much all set up and ready to enter when you start the entry. The instructions are very explicit on the home page as to the things you're going to have to do from start to finish, from whether it's create an account with us or a PayPal account if you're going to compete, you're going to need to do that so you can pay for your entry fees. That's, and if are you familiar, are you guys familiar with PayPal?
Yes.
Sort of.
Okay, good. Well, it's just a way for us, a payment gateway for us to use, and it's very popular and it's very easy to sign up for. You can use your credit card, you can use your debit card, you can use your bank account, or you can use whatever money you have in your balance at PayPal if you have any. So there's several ways to pay, and the same thing will happen when you if you win prize money, it'll be sent to your PayPal account as soon as we finish judging, instantaneously actually. So that's the way it's supposed to be set up, so that nobody has to wait and we don't have to run around sending out checks and separate payments.
We didn't think of ourselves much, did we?
Oh, wait, there's a couple more people who want to get on. And got Kevin, there's Dave Harris.
Hey, Dave, you're down there.
Way down there. We can't see you very well. Your ceiling
I have a
looks
question.
great. Oh, audio. I got to undo the audio for everybody. This is stupid.
There
I'll
he
never do that
is.
again. Ask to unmute.
Thank you
and
for
Don
coming back
doesn't
and
have
helping
any
us,
video
Dave.
on. So Don, this is Richard, and Don doesn't have any video on. So
There's Dawn. Hi, Dan. Yeah, he's connecting, it says, though.
his audio. Yep. Cool.
Good. We've got a nice little collection. We've got people who've been here, like, let's see, you help tested, didn't you, Richard?
Yeah, I helped on the beta test.
Yeah, and so did you, David, right?
Right.
Yep. Okay. So we've got some that have and some that haven't, and that's just perfect. I love that.
Right.
Oh,
There you go, Kevin.
there's
Good to
Kevin.
see you.
Hi, Kevin. Don, he's still messing around.
Well, I don't know if he's messing around or just doesn't have a video. So his sound is well, he has no microphone and his video is cut off, is red.
So nice to meet you in person, Kevin.
Yeah, everybody, most of you people I haven't met in real life, except maybe David, at World. Maybe Kevin and I have met at World briefly. I'm not sure. Richard, have we met in person?
No, we've just corresponded on, particularly when I was working on carving a loon.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Sure.
Yep. Okay.
Right on.
Yeah. There's Don. Woohoo! And his wife.
Yeah.
No, daughter, wife. Not sure.
Well,
It was too
oh,
quick. Way too quick. Let's see here. Okay, nobody's waiting. We got 8 of us in here. This is really wonderful. There's Don. Again. You're kind of sideways. There you go. Kevin. All right. So
I'm gonna make sure I'm logged in on this side.
all right.
Sorry guys for scratching my nose. I have hay fever even in the winter.
So
that's not
for Kevin and Don, do you have microphones on your devices that are shut off? Oh, there you go. Don's connecting and Kevin's connecting audio. Okay, good.
There we go.
These first times around are always
Lori,
yes.
I just wanted to mention that before you started this, you
Yeah.
typed in virtual championships about a year ago. You may have gotten 1 or 2 other hits on Google. There's 6 now.
6.
So
There's a lot
this
more
timing-
than 6, but yeah, there's
Yeah, well, this timing is, or this venue, or this is spot on. I think I think you've done a great job in the time frame that you've had.
how do I hear you from Kevin to everyone? Okay. We
Should
have
be
you
a chat box
Is there
somewhere,
a
Laurie.
chat box, Kevin?
There is, but
We
you're
made
in
it
control
work.
of it.
Yeah. Oh, that was a different thing we used though, the other day. It was the room thing we used. Let's see. what-
Yeah, there's a little icon should be at the bottom of your screen called chat. And if you click that, it'll bring up a little chat box and you can move it. And then everybody can talk to us. Oh, it says, how do I hear you? I am tech challenged. And that's from Kevin.
Okay.
Let me, if he can't get on, let me just chat him.
Don't
might
worry, me
take-
too.
Oh,
Jeff.
Jeff says me.
Well, when I got on my iPhone, there was a, little on-off button for video and sound.
Okay.
Mine was already pre-filled, so maybe his, if he's on an iPhone or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's turned down or
Hang on,
muted on your
Did you
end.
give him a?
So what's this hands up thing? That's not Eves. That's because we're talking.
That is in the chat, and that means that people, namely Dawn, probably is wanting to talk to us through chat.
Okay, let me
And so
see.
I am typing.
Yeah.
Did you have a phone number, Laurie, to call in?
No, I did not have a phone number to call in.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get it to where
The-
you can get it to where.
Is there a place to find that? If there is a
I'm
number.
trying to get back to show your
I know.
video again, and I don't know how. Oh, there
Is
it
there
is.
is there? it-
There.
Okay.
There it is, Donald. There it is.
Here's Don.
Hi, how are
Okay,
you?
yay.
There we go.
All right, so, and Kevin, we lost Kevin. He-
I congratulate your IT person, Don.
Yes.
I told you I'm out. Holy cow. Thank God I'm married.
Yay.
They have to put me back in the box in the
too.
dark ages.
All right.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not sure. Is Kevin listening? Can he hear us?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just talking to him. His son actually came over, so I don't know if he came in and went out again.
Okay.
Let me see. I've got David's iPhone.
You guys.
So we've got
somebody's on the
actually
phone.
7 of us. Kevin actually left. For some-
Okay.
Okay, so let's just kind of move ahead.
Yeah, I'll kind of, let you take it, and I will keep track of who's coming
Oh,
in.
there's
the room,
someone's
who's
waiting
raising
now.
their hand.
I don't
Whatever.
know who Adana is. I hope it's
Who
not
is?
Adana. Doesn't look familiar to me.
Donna
Hey, Donna. Oh, there's Adana.
there.
We didn't know who Adana was. Okay, is he muted?
He's connecting his audio.
And I have to probably unmute him.
So when you go to the website, what exactly are we typing in? When we want
At
to
which
register?
website?
When we want to register.
Well, we
The
just go to
URL.
just here.
Wildfowl Carving Championships.com /login.
Login. And there's a login button as well on the far
Oh,
right.
there should, yeah, there is, right, yeah.
Maybe an email with a link to all that would be good.
Okay, did you get an email today, Richard?
I got the email about this meeting today.
Okay, and all of that information you're asking about is in that email. All the
Okay,
links to
All
the
right.
Facebook page, to the website, and the actual pages we would like for you to take a look at so we can see if you understand the instructions and the FAQ and the registration
okay.
and
I read that.
the rules, actually. Hi,
Lots of
Anthony.
rules.
Morning.
How are
Hi,
you?
Anthony.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, yeah, I just happened to see this. I didn't know it was, I thought it was yesterday. You guys did something.
Well, what happened was I kind of set this room up for, it was called a room. I didn't ever use it before, and everybody, I guess it just runs in the background, and when you want to join it, then I decide if I'm going to join it, and it's just not what I was looking for. I wanted something like this that we can actually document what's going on, and people's names are in their little video boxes so that we can know who we're talking to, even though I know you're Anthony and not Adana.
Yeah. That's a new nickname for him.
That's a
I'll
good
put
thing.
an S on the end of that. That was that was sexist, wasn't it? I'm sorry, but it's true. Okay.
So those who got the email, I think everybody got the email. It kind of asks you to take a look at those pages and go through the instructions over the next few days. Or if you could have done it before you got to this meeting so that you would have any of your questions answered. We've got it, we think we have it set up pretty good. I mean,
Hay fever.
you know, with entry software, the championship software, we've done 4 updates. And since August, when those who tested the first time around tested it, and it was, this is the 4th update. Yeah, I'm just getting the end of it. So it's been a long time, and we've made a lot of changes so that it would be an easy interface for the users. It's going to be hard enough for them photographing their artwork, much less, you know, we don't want to make it even harder and compound that by having a difficult championship system. So you know, basically we've set it up so that there's the 4 levels of competition, starting from junior, going to novice, intermediate, and open. And I believe it's 9 different divisions. It could be more. I gotta go back and look. But it's every division you could want, and it's the same for every level. Same divisions. So every division is going to have a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd place winner.
Should look familiar.
Yep. And then we're setting it up for an 80%, 20%. 20% is going to be for operational, and then the 80% of the entry fees are going to be split up so that if you get 1st place, you get 50%. If you win 2nd place, you get 35%. If you win 3rd place, you get 15%. So that gives us, you know, the 100% of that 80 to be paid out. Now, we're going to have private judging, and we're going to have public judging. The private judging will be done on a Zoom meeting like this. We'll be sharing screens. Everybody will be able to look at the entries that are in that particular division they're judging, and we'll be able to have discussions just like this. Well, I don't know, that tail looks a little wrong, you know, just like we would in real competition. And we'll come to a consensus and come up with 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We can come up with as many places as we want, but we're only paying out the first 3. So then once the judges have decided, and we actually put that into the system, the winning entries are going to automatically trigger a payment through PayPal for their winnings, whatever it is. So if it's a $15 entry fee, and there's, you know, so many entries, after that 20% is removed, that's the money that's going to be distributed amongst those who've entered in that division. So the more entries, the more prize money there's going to be. So it'll behoove you to get your friends to enter too.
Tell all your friends and family.
Right. So then now that, okay, prize monies have been paid out via PayPal, and now it gets opened up to the public. So the public can vote for the next couple of weeks, 2 weeks, during which time the artists can promote themselves, show their entries, and get people to vote for them. Now, we've set it up for this championships that you can vote once for yourself and once for any other carving in, well, let's say, if you have a carving in a division, you can vote for yourself, but you're only going to get that one vote. Now,
Yeah, I was gonna
right.
say,
So,
yeah.
but in any given division, you will only be allowed to vote once. This is going to keep the integrity of the votes in the public votes intact, because you have to be a registered member to actually vote. So we'll be able to see on the back end if someone's trying to get extra votes and skew off the presidential election. Oh, sorry. And we're going to be completely transparent, we promise. So,
We have an electoral college on this.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it is going to be totally transparent, and we want
So
it
you
to
vote-
be transparent.
So we'll be able to vote once for each division.
Yep. See,
Once, yeah, that's it.
so we're going to have simultaneously running several, we call them in between Lori and I and Jeff, contests. This software was originally set up to be contests, and we've totally morphed it into something completely different than what it was through our requests and demands of our software developer. So it's nothing like that, but we still call them contests just because, well, there's the Lynn.
There's my husband.
Hi.
Hi. Say
Hi,
hi.
Dylan. How you doing?
Say hi. What? What?
Just pull that down.
Oh,
He needs
just
his
a
shirt
minute. I
pulled
got
down.
to help. He's yeah. Oh, he's T-Rex. We like to do T-Rex. I tell you.
That was me yesterday morning.
Was it?
It
was.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on. What is it, 80 degrees out there?
No, actually, it's probably 70.
70.
That's
Oh,
not fair.
You
But
better
we're
go
gonna get we're gonna get some rain, I think, today.
yeah.
No,
It's snowing here.
It's gonna be 40. I think 56 today.
Nice.
Get the fireplace on.
Yes, we have. The
Yeah, we got the fireplace going. Yeah. That
So-
we get the firewood in August. That way,
Right.
when it snows in October.
Yeah.
Okay, so once the public
Sorry about that,
vote,
guys.
this is a time for you to promote yourself, promote your artwork, and at the end of 2 weeks, there's no money for the public voting except for the Ashley Gray Memorial People's Choice Award. That's where the first, second, and third place winners of each one of those 9 divisions, which creates 27 different places or positions that will be able to each have 1 vote for, as a People's Choice Award should run. And then we'll award first, second, and third in that. We haven't figured out prize money on that yet, if we're going to split it or give it to just first place or what. But
That will be 2 weeks though. That will be a 2-week process.
well, it'll be a 2-week process for the public to vote on the individual, everybody's entries. Individual entries will be up and available for you to say, go vote for my my entry or entries. Then during that same 2 weeks, we'll know now who the 27 which the 27 entries were that we can vote on for People's Choice. So we're gonna let that go for 2 weeks as well. And we'll end that all in the first week of May. I'm sorry, first week of April, not May. So
Yeah.
it should be interesting to see how that happens. Now, we also have the 60-40 divisions, the auction divisions.
Mhm.
And that's
That's
going to
gonna be
be set
exciting.
up with on our parent site, which is virtual championships, and we're going to have auctions set up on that. And it was easier for us to do it this way. So technically it was easier. So we're going to
For
run
now.
the Wildfowl carving auctions through virtual championships. And then once it'll be just like eBay. We'll leave them open for bidding for a couple of weeks. And unless they do it, we do a buy now type of thing, which would be, far more than probably the price people would pay, but at least it would give, I don't know. Are you all familiar with eBay and how it all works?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Everybody else? So, it's pretty slick. And we've also integrated escrow.com so that you're not, PayPal is not a good way for selling things so much because somebody can get the merchandise and then they can dispute it and keep the merchandise and everything. Your money gets tied up forever. Well, with escrow.com, the buyer pays escrow.com. You send the piece knowing the money's been received. The buyer receives the piece and has an inspection period. Usually it's 24 hours. And then the money's released as soon as they say, hey, yeah, everything's great. And so everybody is held accountable in a very safe way. So that's why we've integrated escrow.com for any kind of physical sales. It also puts it into your hands, not ours. It's less handling. If you had to send your birds to us for us to sell to somebody else, that's so much more handling, so much more shipping. And it's going to be set up so that, I can't remember, Lori, do we have a choice? Does the seller have a choice of paying the shipping or having the buyer? I think we're going to set it up so that the buyer pays the shipping. Or we might be able to do it 50-50. I mean, there's different.
That's what we were gonna do. I think there was a
No,
what they call a
we
buyer's
decided to do-
premium and a
I think we
seller's premium.
decided to do a flat rate thing of a certain amount, so everything would fall in
Okay.
there, and because it became very complicated.
Yeah,
So-
we've been through this so many times. I'm like,
Right. So let's see. One of the
and we
questions
won't
Mavis
see the money at all. Absolutely, there will be no money that crosses Laurie and I's hands for this auction thing. It's totally automated through them.
and then they distribute the monies out to you.
Yeah,
And
we don't see credit cards or anything.
right.
We're
So
being as hands-off as possible.
right.
I
When
got
it
a quick
comes,
question.
okay, good.
What did you say was the bad thing about PayPal, that it ties up the money?
Oh, I sell domain names, and if you set PayPal for a domain name, just this is an example. I have a .com. They want to pay me $500 for it, and I agree. I transfer the domain name into their control, and then they've paid me. I don't do it until they pay me, but then after I transfer the domain name, they can dispute the charge. And now they've got the domain name because there were no controls other than me giving it to them. And I don't have my money or my domain name anymore. Things get kind of held in limbo until you sort it out. And sometimes it can take a lawyer. So we don't want that hassle for anybody. And so I knew and have used escrow.com for selling domain names before, and it's just a totally safe system to use. Does that answer your question?
Okay, I just didn't know about that dispute thing.
The
Another
dispute,
question
We're not
I
protected
have
as sellers.
Is the show in Ocean City canceled already?
We don't know that yet. I talked to Tom Matus the other day, and he talked to Rich Smoker. So this is, fourth party information. But I think they were going to decide the first week in January if it was a go or a not.
Okay.
Only because it's fair. I mean, we all have to make our plans. Are we going to drive? Are we going to make? I mean, I always make my hotel reservations the first week in January when we go. So, and then there's flights, and it was such a nightmare for those who actually invested money to go to World in Ohio and have them canceled out from underneath them. I know Brad Kettrick called me from the hotel room and there was no show in Ohio. And he was worried about if I was still going to want the wood that he was going to bring to World, and knowing World was also going to be canceled. And of course I did, but he was left hanging in a lurch because, he knew he had my sale, but he had all this other wood he brought to the show that he didn't sell because there was no show. So it's instant, or situations like that I don't think the Ward Fountain Ward Museum wants to put the vendors in. And I know Ohio canceled. So with the second
I can't
wave,
see it happening. I
Pardon
can't
me?
see it. I can't see it happening. I mean, the vaccines, have to go out to almost everybody for
And there's-
anybody to feel safe about traveling and going there.
that's right. And this whole second wave, and is it different? And are we going to get locked down
Mutated
again?
again.
So,
Yeah, you don't know what's, in a couple months, they can't predict what it's going to be like.
no.
And you have to make a decision now, like you said about the travel. I was thinking about that because we have 6 of us from over here that are going. We call us the Left Coast 6. 'Cause
Right.
we're all doing a goose for
Okay.
past years. I think everybody I think started a new one, but I think we were talking about it, and we don't know, about the travel issue. And like you said, you gotta get flights now, and reserve your, Luckily last year for us, it wasn't too bad getting our money back
Well,
on
that's
our
good.
flight. And of course, the castle was really good about canceling everything. There's no issue there.
Right.
But it was it's, like you said, they have to plan for the judges and all of that.
Well, in the
that
convention
figured
center.
out. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, and then what are the state, requirements there? I mean, can you have groups? You don't know
No.
right now. So I just can't see it happening, and they can't postpone it because of the summer months. Right after that, there would be no way
Yeah.
they can have it during the summer.
That's right. So it's like somebody I think someone was a little upset that Ohio canceled so far out. And it was the same story for them. They had to make that decision. And I think it was a good call. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. For us, we really thought that we were going to be able to do our thing last year in 2020. And I was really upset that we
But
didn't, but I'd rather have something as good as we've got than to have, put out an inferior platform for us to use, because I think this could be used for other shows. The Ohio show, or other shows that don't have their venue available to them for whatever reason anymore. One of the things that I'm going to quick bring up that Matus had asked about, because I think it's a big question in a lot of people's minds, is what about floating your decoys? And we want to do that. We've even set it up so that you can upload video or post a link to a video. Right now we're working through the kinks on this stuff, and if we ask for a video link to show, say, a 30-second video of improve your flotation and self-righting abilities, every platform that you could upload it to for free says who you are, and there's no way to hide that. So the only real solution would be to have you guys upload your videos to us, and we don't know what a strain on the server that would be at this time for this first time around. We're going to have all of these different, 9 divisions I'm sorry, yeah, 9 divisions times 4 levels. We're gonna have 36 plus the auction divisions all running at the same time simultaneously. And
Video's really problematic.
it could be. So just the more we add, I think just we're asking a little bit for more issues. Plus,
Oh,
we're
but what
also
is it-
asking carvers to do something for the first time, and that's to photograph their artwork. And we've provided a whole lot of instructions and tips and things like that, but it's still going to be very challenging to them, and which is why we're leaving. We're waiting until February because we're going to start pushing, learning how to do that, and again, and making sure that you have everything set up when you have your entry. You've got your 8 photos. They're required. You have to have 8, and they have to be the views that we've asked for, and they have to be at least 2,500 on the height and the width to be able to be uploaded. That's just going to be one of the requirements for every division. But with the flotation, we're this first time around, I felt that, or we felt that the carvers are going to hold each other accountable. So I show up with a bird that I never floated, and I enter it into this virtual venue, and I say, yeah, it floats perfect, and we believe me, everybody believes me. And then the next time we have an actual brick and mortar show, the same bird shows up and it floats like hell. You know, everyone's gonna say, hey, you know, you would have been disqualified in the virtual show if we'd have known how you floated. So I think for this first time around, we can hold each other accountable. I think these birds are gonna show up again in other shows and actually have to float. And that way we can make it a little bit easier the first time around, and then we can incorporate the video and figure out, you know, I don't know how much, we don't know how much server space this is going to take up. We don't know how many people are going to enter. We put no limits. We put no limits on the number of entries, no limits on the dates. So if you carved it in 96, and you think it can compete today, you should be getting your camera out and photographing it if you have access to it. Because, you know, why would we cut our nose off to spite our faces when we have people who have all kinds of entries? I have entries, not that I'm going to enter, but I have entries that I never ever entered into any competition that, or I did enter into competition that are still in my possession or I have access to, that if I didn't photograph, I can still photograph them and enter them in. And I think it might be a way to rejuvenate this art. I want the art to be recognized as fine art. And along the way, all the carvers can use the tools we're offering to promote themselves, to promote their own art, and to promote wildfowl carving as a whole. There's also going to be an opportunity of, after the contest and after everything's said and done, you want to try to sell your bird like on eBay, you know, for a fee or whatever. We haven't worked that out. You can have us set up an auction for you. So it would be however you want it, 30 days, 10 days, buy it now, highest bid, reserve bid. It's all available. And again, that would be escrow, so you'd be safe. So those are, you know, future aspirations we think are possible, along with, you know, little video parties. And
Hey, Lori.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about, well, Lori and Lori.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's the two Lauries, Laurie and Lori. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, that's my Southern accent. They both sound the same. So.
Yeah, you do.
As back to the flotation, why couldn't one of the pictures be a profile shot of the bird floating?
That's a good option. That is a nice option to consider.
And negate
Mandatory.
self-writing.
And then just not have the self-writing for this first
Right.
time around. What do you think of that, Anthony?
Well, I like the pitch. That's because I was thinking about that. Why can't you take pictures on the water of the birds? self-riding. I don't know. Could you get
Well,
a shot
see,
of
and that's part of the
over it?
problem too.
What about
So,
a shot of?
so with the self-writing, think about this. Someone's going to video their decoy and they're going to self-write it for the video. Let's pretend there's no identification to this video except for what you're seeing in the video. Maybe you recognize a bird. Do you recognize the jewelry? Do you recognize the arm? Is there a tattoo that you recognize? You might not be able, you might have to have somebody else's arm actually perform the self-writing act. Don't speak because we could recognize a voice. I mean, there's a lot of different things to consider when someone's submitting proofs of self-writing and flotation. And I'm open to anything.
I think that
mean,
Are all
that needs.
decoys required to normally float in this, or are decorative decoys different? Or I've never been there, so I don't know what the rules are.
oh, well, decorative decoys are floated. They don't have to self-write. Working decoys, style type decoys, all of those kind of decoys, they are required to self-write and float correctly.
Okay.
I think that's kind of a real important area. I think that needs to be like really examined. You know, I'd like to see them floated.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
And, and I think because you put a lot of work into that when you try
well,
to get
and I agree. I understand completely
And that's-
on that.
and that's kind of part of it too.
The logistics of floating are just named out some of them. And the fact that, you know, I don't know. I mean, we're already have so many requirements, so many don't do this and do that, and you have to have this and you have to have that. And that is what rules are, yes. When it comes to the flotation, that's the only conundrum that we've actually come up against and had to wonder how we could fill that gap. Or, I mean, a photograph of it on the water and maybe from a side view and a front view would prove it floats and would be happy, but it wouldn't prove if it self-writes in a working decoy situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there's
We
some
could all, like,
photos you can
meet
take of
in
it
one-
being self-righted.
We could like meet in all in one place and bring our fly rods and a 6-pack of beer and forget floating altogether.
More than a
Yeah.
six
I would be
pack.
floating afterwards.
What were you going to say, Anthony?
I'm
No, I just think
sorry.
you got to bring more than a 6-pack.
Oh, yeah.
It's not enough.
Everybody bring a 6-pack.
Yeah.
We will run into these issues, and then not be able to iron them all out before the shakedown, before we roll this thing out. It would be nice if we could, though, because the floating issue is going to be a big one. And
Mhm.
I don't know, do we asterisk the winner and say, you know, this, you know, I'm not sure how you handle that.
Well, my thinking was, you know, of course, everyone's in a different climate, so we all can't have our kiddie pools out. But, you know, I was thinking, you know, have a neighbor or whatever, somebody that is totally unknown to everybody, actually be in the pool or wherever, the sink, whatever.
No,
Yeah,
not
it's-
gonna
You
work.
know, doing those things. Your neighbors know what you do pretty much. Your
That's-
nephew knows what you do pretty much, niece. And I think, you know, have a proxy, I guess is what I'm thinking about.
Or
do the
there's
video
one other thing we can do.
live.
There's one other.
Yeah,
does
right.
anyone know how, Lori, do you know how to actually snag a video from YouTube?
You know, I don't think you can do that anymore.
Well, I'm going to look into that. There are ways
Okay.
to do it. And if what we could do is when somebody told us what that link was.
Yeah.
We can turn the link on or turn it off, the
Oh,
video
yeah.
link feature.
Oh, yeah.
And what we could do is we could pre-qualify them without the judges seeing the names as
Piece of
moderators.
cake there. Oh, yeah. Piece of cake there. I think there's a link that said, you know, I know I'm on Vimeo. And
Okay.
I know with Vimeo, it gives me the option of allowing other people to download the link, you know, or download the video or watch the video. Only people with a video.
The reason I asked about that is what we could do is for the division, we could have an actual compiled video at the end proving after they've been moderated that would actually hide the names or even show the names if it's after the fact. I mean, if the judges say were these, I mean, they do that a lot in the competitions anyways. They pre-qualify them on the table, then they even have pre-qualified the flotation in the tanks before the judges ever really look at them. So, you know, that might be a way to solve that. What do you think
Yeah,
of that?
well, you know, since you and Jeff and I pretty much are going to be clerking the judges.
And I'm not competing, so.
Yeah, yeah. So why, you know, we'll be there with the judges and, you know, do like they do at World, clerk and listen to them and answer questions if they have any. And maybe that's just one more thing we need to do is manually pre-qualify before any of these videos even get entered, video quote entry, pre-qualify them for ourselves.
At least
you know,
until we can know what the server space would be required and the number of people who are going to enter. We don't want to blow this thing up the first day because everybody adds video.
well, yeah,
I'll tell you,
and that's why we're where we're at is in the cloud. We can, you know, we can increase our bandwidth as we need it, our server space as we need it, load balancers. But you know, that's all we
Getting
need to
more and
learn.
more complicated. It gets
Yeah.
more and more complicated. And the main focus here is to promote wildfowl carving. Sure, you can get floating or upright or writing
Uprighting, yeah.
upright videos, probably for just the large class, just the master class. All the other ones, I don't know if we can do it.
I agree with you, Jeff, because, you know, especially the first time doing this, you know, you don't want to make it difficult enough to where people don't want to enter. So, yeah,
That's my concern.
yeah, let the open class do it, but the other classes, let them, you know, make it easy.
I think that's actually a pretty good compromise, but
Yeah, we could enter little time, you know, little bits. We could enter, you know, as we go along down the road, we could enter more and more requirements, and there'll be baby steps. And before they know it, they're pros. So
there you go.
And it's important to have the openness and not bog it down in a lot of manual stuff. The more automated we can be, the more it is what it is. This is how you won. This is why. We didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, the more you get into, well, they messed up my video, or he had a better video than I did, or he's got better professional quality.
that's on the carver.
I think we're running into some
Absolutely.
big issues. Or possible.
Same thing with the photography, though. You could say the same thing with the photography.
and that's
You know,
always
find somebody that you know can photograph well. I mean, your entry is only as good as your photo. And if we ask for 2,500 and you send us a 400 pixel image, it's going to get booted because the judges need to see detail.
Well, there will be an opportunity to contact that contestant and say, look, we have issues with your photos, and please, is it going to be an issue for you to send it in the right one? Otherwise, we're going to refund your fee because we,
Yeah.
Everybody has to have apples to apples.
Right.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So Anthony, what do you think about the open division or level being the ones that are required to proof?
Well, I think it should be all all divisions myself.
I wish you were sitting on this side of it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's a way they could do it with like the lower levels, just have to provide a picture of it floating. And the upper
Okay,
level,
I
maybe
could
have
see that. I could see that, but when it comes to playing hardball, you have to actually have a video that proves. Now, the other thing is we got the moderators who could actually review these video links that are being provided, and we can check off, yes, it's been verified and it's qualified. I think that's only going to be the only way we're going to be able to do it anonymously at first, until we know from the first how many entries, how much server space is going to take. You know, we won't know if we can actually have people upload their anonymous videos that are only associated to their contestant number or their entry number, so that we can keep them, present them to the judges or the
Yeah.
public in the end, you know.
I think if you start making the photography requirements too difficult, you're going to limit the number of entries you get very severely, because a lot of carvers are fairly technology limited. And if you require 2,500 pixels, I have no idea how to make a photograph that's 2,500 pixels. If you
Wow.
require a video to be uploaded, I couldn't do that today. I might be able to research it and do it in a week, but I can't do it today. And I'm saying I understand why you might want these things, but you're asking for something that's way outside of the normal expertise of many carvers.
And I agree with you. This is why we have provided just many tips, many instructions on how to do it. We've also urged the people who don't know how to do it to maybe ask some of the younger generation to help you. And they're willing, they know how to do it, and they were willing to show you. You probably have, if you have a smartphone, you probably can take a picture of 2,500 pixels with no problem.
Probably can, but I may not know that.
Well, maybe you don't want to compete.
Yeah, well,
You know, I mean, that's there are certain
I'm not
restrictions.
planning on
And
competing anyway.
you're not?
No,
Oh,
no, I don't think I would be competitive.
mhm. I see. Well, I guess
Okay.
you're here to
There's a
provide
place
us
for everybody.
an opinion that we of yours is valid. And there are going to be people like that don't want to fulfill the requirements that are necessary for this to actually work. But I think that there are enough who have been waiting around to show their pieces and compete them, and actually would like to win some money and ribbons and recognition and get into everything that's going to be in this competition. We're IWCA. It's going into Wildfowl Carving Magazine, which is starving for content right now. And it was like,
I'm sure those people that are in the open division and the upper divisions, you'll have no problem filling that. I'm just thinking that those people who have never been in national competition, maybe or maybe not, I don't know.
Well, you want to get your work out there, though. I mean, that's kind of, you know, you'd kind of encourage the people like that, like you, maybe get your work out, seen. You know, maybe it's not important to win a ribbon, but you just want to get your work out.
Yeah.
No matter what level it is. I mean, that's the way I think it's giving this an opportunity for carvers like have your kind of thoughts. It's same thing with shows. I mean, people don't like to enter in shows maybe because the same reason.
Well, and one of the
You may not
things
think
that
they're
I,
competitive, but I think this is a good way to get your work out there. And like you said, I mean, we've worked on all these pieces and haven't had an opportunity to show them other than our own Facebook page or some form like that.
or there are those who are holding out, they don't want to show them until they compete them. And the thing that I see happening here is that when you go to a show, first, second, and third of open division, that's usually it, are the only ones that are photographed, the only ones that are ever talked about, the only ones that ever get money. Okay, this is different. Every single entry is photographed here. 8 photographs of every entry that can spread all over the world and promote wildfowl carving. There are novice and intermediate carvers and even junior carvers with their parents' permission who probably have pieces for sale that are never ever seen after the show, period, unless they find them on Facebook or, so I think that this is going to promote wildfowl carving at a different level for all levels, not just the masters or the world or the open and advanced divisions.
Hey, Lori, can I say that even on the Canadian side down here, that we've got a lot of guys that I know of that are just would consider to be beginners to intermediate that have never thought about entering competition. Now these guys are really excited to do it. Like Kevin, there's a couple other guys I know, even myself. I've never been to the show, and I mean it's the greatest show on earth, and I want to go. But this is a great way to go. I mean, I agree with you, Richard. It's a great opportunity. What you guys are doing is it's fabulously promoted. I mean, what you're saying, it sounds good for the guys that do it.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome thing that they're doing.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm encouraged and encouraged to compete.
Another thing that we're going to do is once the judging is done, we're going to open up for all those who care to have their pieces critiqued by those who judged them.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
And it can be on a Zoom meeting like this, one-on-one with the judge.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So, that's where we all learned how to do things new, how to do things better, who to ask, so
I may even suggest,
Go
I
ahead.
may even suggest that on a scheduled basis, that there's going to be a Zoom meeting to answer questions for those that are competing, those that are interested, those who just have questions. I think we have an ongoing weekly meeting or a Zoom availability for those, for a half hour a week or whatever. That's just as an option. That's something that I would be happy to host or be a part of. Just, maybe there isn't any questions, but from week to week, something comes up, and this would be an opportunity to have a more personal entity towards this whole virtual competition. So there is someone that you can actually talk to, and you get some questions. And if I can't answer the question, I'll talk to Lori or Laurie and find out.
Yeah, great stuff.
Well, and there's so many opportunities here that hopefully by next Saturday, I was going to schedule this again for the same time next Saturday, and maybe by then we'll have a test contest for you. We expect these guys to have everything ready by the opening of the week, and we're gonna have to set some things up. But once we get it set up, maybe you'll be able to test the interface on Saturday. And if you want to test it, you're gonna have to look at our homepage and follow the directions in the requirements, because it'll be just, and it's not going to be, it's going to be any entry of 20, and we want 8 pictures of the same entry, and we want it to be these sizes and this, all these different requirements. There's not going to be a real competition. It's not going to cost anything to enter. But that we'll get you guys entered. We'll maybe even do a judging. We can do a judging like this to test the capabilities of judging with a group like this. Even if it's, you know, 3 to 5 judges, we've also going to have moderator in there. One of us is going to be working the back end when the judges say, well, we want, you know, first place goes to contestant number this, because the judges will not see the contestant names until after the judging's over. Then all of a sudden your names are revealed and the public judging starts. So, you know, it'll be available for judging in several different ways. Is there any question?
Um,
I have a question.
Sure.
There was that the last couple of years they had the I may have missed this somewhere in the reading, but there was the magazine was doing something similar to this. Is this
Yes.
like combining it now?
Actually, you mean the virtual competition for Wildfowl Carving
Yeah.
Magazine? Yeah, I
Yeah.
won second this year, and I judged it the first 2 years.
Right. Is that something separate than this, right?
It's
This
totally
is-
separate. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
But it is competing against the,
It is virtual.
it is competition.
And we had to submit so many photos, and it actually worked out well.
However, this one's going to be more successful.
Well, it's going to be more inclusive because they only had land birds and water birds. And then they had 2 different levels of competition. So,
So you're right.
and
Okay.
this is going to have everything. The only thing we haven't done is split in the divisions down into, because we're not sure how many people are going to be there. We may be able to, I don't think we can massage it after it's started and add more more entry, more categories. So we've got our division, and then you got your divers and your puddles and your, you know, and then you've got your species. We don't have species yet. We don't know if we need species. You know, if 5 make a reason for a species category, then, you know, we'll take a look at that. So, but we do have basically first, second, and third for each division at each level. There's no money for juniors. We're hoping to get sponsors on those in the future.
Yeah, supplies or something.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
that's a great idea. Yeah.
It is. It is.
Uh-huh.
So,
And if you know, I was just wanted to just point out, have you noticed that since this thing has been kind of been around for a while, have you noticed that people are starting to take their photographs a little bit differently?
yes. Yeah.
They're
Tom
starting to
Christie's a pretty good
show the
example.
straight down and the straight
Straight above.
forward and the side. And so I think people are taking, you know, starting to take notice, and maybe, I don't know, maybe if somebody had the courage to do it, I don't know if I would or not, but I can do my own photographs, but ask some of these people, say, hey, can you help me out here? You know, can you give me some tips? I mean, we've got tips and videos, we've got tutorials, you know, just about everything, but like Richard says, you know, he's still, you know, he's still on the fence. So maybe some of these guys can step in and be mentors, you know?
That's right.
Good way to
I'm
make.
not saying Tom Christie fly from Nebraska to California
No.
to photograph Anthony's work, but
Right.
you know what
But
I'm
it-
saying.
But even the instructions we have show you how to set up a light box at home. So
Yes.
or set up a background so that you don't have to have all of the special lighting and all this fancy dancy stuff. You can have a smartphone and actually photograph your work. So in
It's going to be
the
challenging.
quality that we were asking for.
Well, phones are quite, the cameras are quite good, right? So
They really
Here's my
are.
phone.
Yeah,
not-
There's
hard.
my ring light,
yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's it.
John, you're right. Most cell phones now will have enough pixel
Mhm.
quality
Yeah.
that you're going to be able to zoom in on detail.
And see,
Yep.
and that's the thing. The
That's what we
judges have
need.
to be able to see that detail and zoom in. And we've
Yeah.
set it up so that when you go to your entry, you've already entered, and you go and look at the gallery of entries. They have contestant numbers all over them, and you see the first, second, and third place, and what the monies are monetary based on the number of entries. You click on that entry, and you've got, you know, a larger picture of your entry, and then you can click on the magnifying glass and the thing grows and you can zoom in on all the detail. But if you have a crummy picture, we're not going to see that detail. It'll just be pixels. So that's the reason for the high resolution.
The website has some really nice features that will help highlight really good work as well as not so good work. I mean, when you're able to zoom in and you'll be able to tell.
And it may be that some carvers are uncomfortable with actually showing those details because it's going to be the truth in their face. But we all need to know the truth about our carvings. And
because well, really, you
Closest you
can't
can
really do
get
that
is
at
in
a
the
show.
hand.
You can't zoom in on a piece of the show. So it's kind of a
I'm
double-edged sword.
reminded of the year that there was a hummingbird done by I think it was Jeff Reichen, and he provided, because the light in the world arena sucks really badly. I mean, one year they forgot, Jeff told them to turn the lights on at about 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. after the room had been open for an hour. And so he provided
My eyes are tired.
he provided a flashlight right next to his world entry in hummingbirds, and the judges started, they were supposed to use that flashlight to look in the details. He wanted them to look, but then they took that flashlight and they started looking at other carvings, and there were carvers who got really upset about that. It's like, no, I think it's intent for them
I
to
painted
use
that black for a reason. Hide all that stuff under it.
Exactly. So, there may be
Well, it can be
carvers.
black. It just needs to be cleanly carved. Yeah.
That's right. But, so there may be that'll happen, but, again, the truth is hard sometimes, and it just maybe teaching them where they could improve when they can see it that starkly.
We're making this as perfect as we can, given what we've got.
Right.
And
David, did you have
a lot of weight
something you
over-
wanted to say?
Yes, Lori, could you put on the website, like, I guess you can change the resolution of iPhones? I don't know how to.
Actually, I think I did put that in the tips to check your resolution, but it might
Okay.
not be, and I'll review that. That's
I
why I'd
might-
asked for you guys to kind of take a look at what's on the website so that you could have some questions about what doesn't make sense to you or what's missing. That, Lori and I, we designed and built, had the software designed to our specifications. We know it, front
Is
and
there-
back, but you
Is there
guys
some way
don't.
that you could share your screen and log on
To,
to the website?
yeah.
Screen share?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to also,
Is anybody else interested in seeing this?
let me try, I want to
Sorry.
screen share
It's your
something.
meeting.
Well, why don't we all
One
just
second.
make a commitment to go to the website and look at all of this over the next week, and then get together again in a week and give our feedback? Is that's where we're supposed to be going with this, I think?
Mhm. This is a
Good
this is a
idea.
mock-up. This is the last mock-up we got, and of
Well,
course,
there it is.
you have to understand that this is a
Mhm.
mock-up. It doesn't look like this because we have all kinds of coding that makes it look pretty, but this is a mock-up. So this is how the entry page will basically look. It'll tell us how long we have until the entries close, how to enter the contest. The prize money here will grow as the
Number of
entries
entries.
do. And then they'll all be listed here underneath with, you know, if there's new pages needed. Then there's, this is how, when you say enter the contest, this window pops up and there's going to be a title and description. They left the title thing out, but that'll be there when you see it. But you'll add the title of your piece and the description of your piece. If there's no title, then maybe it's just the species of bird and if it's male or female or whatever. Then for each
Well,
picture, go
I have
ahead.
a question. If you're putting in a description, will it accept the same description of some as another
Yes.
photo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can copy and paste if it
Okay,
makes it easier for you.
Yeah.
Or you can
So-
even use that area to point out something that, you know, like what you were talking about with a flashlight, Laurie.
Mhm.
Maybe somebody could say, you know, close up of underscaps or
Right.
whatever.
Well, and
Yeah,
I'm going to jump over to the requirements page, but basically you'll have the opportunity on most of these entries. I think the rig's a little bit different, and floating decoys are slightly different than decoratives, but you'll be able to have 6 required photos that we want these views, and then you're going to be able to have 2 other photos that are of your choice in a close-up area that you want to show. If you're interested in having the judges know that, the judges will see that in the description as they're looking at it. One of the
So
things
we'll
that,
have a minimum number and a maximum number.
or, well, we have the flexibility to have this a range of numbers or exact numbers. So we're gonna, for this contest or championship, we're gonna require 8 overall. We might switch that up now though, because we're talking about showing views from
Floating.
flotation, right? So we're seeing, this is why you guys are helping. You will help more than you know.
But I think Richard is right. I think Richard is right, Laurie, that we should all get into the website, feel around for it, write down our questions, and meet back in a week.
Well,
Mhm.
okay, and that's good. You know, things that didn't have before that David will recognize is that you didn't have a photo number. You didn't know how many photos you'd actually uploaded and things like of that nature that made things easier for the entrant. Just going through some of these, this is how it will tell you if you didn't put in enough photos, you're gonna have, it's gonna ask you to add more. This is like the video link that we can turn off or on.
Okay.
And then once you actually enter, you'll get confirmation, and then you'll see your entry on in the gallery page, and you can choose to make another entry or go to a different division and enter
Right,
there.
this was helpful.
Pardon me?
This was helpful.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
And each entry gets a separate unique entry number. So there's no names attached until after the judging is done. So if you enter 3 birds, they've got 3 different entry numbers, but they're all under your name. So when you go to your profile or somebody goes to your profile, they're going to see all of your work. You know,
right,
after
just
the
what I'm
judging
showing
is
you
done.
right now. So it'll when you go to your profile page after you create your registration, your membership account, this is all the different tabs that you'll have available to you. So if you have entries in a contest and you click on contest entries of your profile, it's going to show you the active contests that you're in, the number of them. And if you're in active contests, it'll all be listed here. And then it's going to have past contests. And we'll also be able to link and click onto past contests. That's another thing that they're adding for us. So the profile page is not only going to show you the live entries you have going on, the past entries, you also have an awards page. Let me go to that. Can you see that? No. This is your same, but we're on the awards tab. And the ribbons do not look like this. Well, Lori has created the most gorgeous graphic ribbons you will ever see that will be put in place of here. And they'll be small like this, but then when you hover over it, you won't be able to read what first place was, but if you hover over it, it's going to pop up into this bigger window, which is going to show you what that ribbon was. And these will always be on your profile page, so you can accrue them over the years. And then you'll also accrue all your different contest entries. So that was just one more of the mock-ups that we have. So now I'm going to go to, let me close. Oh, wait, I'm not sure what I'm closing here. I want to get to, can you guys see this stuff?
I can't.
Okay,
But
can you see?
I'm in the sticks and I'm in the snow right now, so
Okay,
but I
hold
know
on.
what you're talking about.
It says I'm still screen sharing, but it says that I need to log in, and I'm not sure why I got. There we
That's
go.
kinda weird.
There I am. So this is my profile login page. And if I go to my profile page, this is how it appears right now. You all have the ability to set up your own cover photo. And I'm a member of the IWCA. I'm a lifetime member. I'm also, that makes me a regular member. I'm a sponsor and I'm a contributor. When you click on contributor, it'll take you to all the contributors. It'll take you to all the sponsors. It'll take you to all the members. It'll take you to the lifetime members. Again, we have some of these things. We did some tests, so we have some entries there or for contests that are passed. The thing that I wanted to get to was, okay, on the home page.
I think you're still on your profile. I think you're locked up on my page.
Yes, you're on your my profile.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mine too.
let's see what
Yeah.
happens. I'm gonna refresh.
We're having
That's-
some issues.
Kind of
Hold on.
something
But
we're
anyhow,
gonna
I don't know
have
how long you
to
wanted to
maybe
keep
have a
this.
contingency plan for.
Well,
So
see, and that's why I
locking
want
up.
to, okay, let me try once more now.
There you go.
There
back
you go.
again.
Good video.
Share. Okay, can you see the home page of the website?
Not yet. There we go.
Yeah.
That's
There you go. That's it.
that's it.
Okay, so if you scroll down to the get ready, it tells you the basic things that you have to do. You have to be a PayPal member. You just have to sign up.
You have
It's
an
the link to
account.
get there. If you're gonna, we were gonna do the IWCA championships, a few of the divisions, and that didn't work out. But if you do, if they get added in the future, you will need to be a current member to compete in those divisions. Or the same thing happens if you are a novice or intermediate and you want to accrue points for decorative carver of the year, because we are IWCA. You can do that with our decorative divisions. So we've got camera requirements and we've got tips, and these are the things I'd like for you guys to take a close look at. The front page that I just showed you. This is the fact page, and it talks about our judging procedure, and this may change a little bit due to this conversation, and we'll keep you updated with what those changes. In fact, what I'll do is when changes made based on our conversation, I'll just post a link to this page so you guys can take a look at the changes. So the FAQ has the judging procedures that we're using currently right now, how the public voting works, how the prizes and awards work. Basically the photo and image use, by entering, you're giving us the permission to use your photo to promote wildfowl carving and us and you and everybody. And then the auction
In
division.
competition.
And then the future of selling your entries through our platform if you choose that. So if you look at that, I'd like to know what you think of that, or we would. These are the general rules. Again, some of these are going to change, but most of them are based upon IWCA. If you click on that IWCA link behind each one of these things, it's going to take you to the IWCA site to confirm the rules. But there's a few different divisions that IWCA doesn't have, like the decoy rig. And of course, our interpretive sculpture is not an IWCA thing. And to compete in these, even though they're IWCA, you don't have to be a member of IWCA. It's just we're using their rules. It's the championship divisions that you have to be, because they're sponsoring the contest, or the championships, and they're providing the prize monies and ribbons. They will be drop shipping the ribbons and sending out checks, totally separate from us when it's an IWCA championship division or championship event, none of which we have right now because IWCA is all up in the air. I don't know if you guys know this, but Monty Willis had a heart attack yesterday, and he's in the hospital, and I think he's getting some stents placed. So we're waiting to hear about him, and prayers for him. So anyway, to move on, these are different auction divisions, and they're open to everybody, whether you're a junior or an open competitor, like every other auction division is for most shows. Again, they're not anything IWCA, so there's no rules to link to except for the rules that we've posted. Now, if you take a look at those rules and you see something that should be changed or could be better, we want to hear about that. So here we are at rules. Now, requirements also can change a little bit based on what we've talked about today, particularly in the decoys and the decoy rigs. Perhaps we do have the ability to ask for more photos that would, one or the video. So we're going to have to put our heads together about how to do that, but this is going to change. And again, I'll post any changes that are made so you guys can review that. One of the things I think is going to be really difficult to teach people how to do is to actually have all of their photos for a single entry in like one folder on their computer or their device, so that they're all in one place, and then also have either written down on a piece of paper or typed into a notepad where you could copy and paste it, their title, entry title, and entry descriptions, just to make it much easier for you. I told you that they were going to add that entry title when I showed you the mock-up, and so that's why I'm asking for both, for the title or the entry title and entry description. But then there's the photo title and the photo description. So if it's the side view, then you just put side view in the description, and you can copy and paste your title from the entry in there. And we've left them both for two reasons: for other venues that have nothing to do with wildfowl carving, and then also for search engines, and when those photos are captured by the search engines or brought up in, say, image search in Google, it's going to have the title and the description available for that image and give you credit for it in the future. So we're thinking down the road here after, because we're going to have archives of all the championships available forever. I mean, we're going to just keep building on it so that, things seem to disappear on websites, and we don't want that to happen. We want to archive the years or the events that we host. It might be that IWCA comes to us and says, none of the shows were able to happen. We know that your show was able to do it the first time around, and we want you to do the IWCA championship events. So we'll be ready to do that if that's what they need us to do for them. So that is the requirements. And then when you go to, now the divisions, you can see here that we've got every single, goes nowhere right now because we don't have the contest set up until the software is done. Same thing for the winners, those will always be. Now tips here, this is where Richard, you could learn a whole lot about what we're talking about and why we're asking for certain things. You can see this is just a cardboard box that was set up with a couple of lights and some translucent paper on the side. And that's perfect for making a cheap at-home light box. You can also buy them off of Amazon. And they're large enough for most birds, and they have all different sizes. So it might.
And they're not that expensive.
It isn't. And if this is the future or a potential future, it's worth taking a look at what it's going to take, because you'll use it over and over and over again. I built my first light box from instructions that are exactly what I posted here. Compliments of Lori, who found it somewhere, couldn't remember where she found it years later, and then I tracked it down again. So we got the instructions, and it's worked for every the pieces that I've done. My book, the cover shots that are on Wildfowl Carving Magazine, I've taken all those photos myself. I paid a photographer $150, $200 the last time for my loon from 2011. And it was terrible photography. And he'd gone in and done all kinds of cleanup work that was awful. So I decided then and there I wasn't going to pay another photographer. I'd rather invest that $200 and be able to do it over and over and over again myself than to leave it in the hands of somebody it's not going to do as good of a job. So this whole page talks about how to photograph with an iPhone. And when it talks about the iPhone, they're talking about any phone, really. This guy talks about how to photograph, and he's talking about 3D art. This guy talks about photographing your sculptures. And these aren't really long videos. They're not complex, but they're really super helpful.
One thing, Laurie.
Yeah.
With a phone thing, there are, there's a camera app that comes with your phone, but there are also apps out there that will enhance what you already have. I mean, they'll add features so it'll be more like a real camera. I mean, I could photograph on my on my Android phone. I can photograph HDR.
Right.
And it's just an app I bought at the App Store for $1.99. So just, be aware of that too, iPhone or Android, that, you can get apps to improve your photography. So I'm photographing right now with my phone, actually at about 20 megapixels. I think it came originally, it photographed, I think 16, which, really doesn't make a huge difference. But what I'm saying is you can up, the capacity of your phone. Yeah.
If you have
so
to use
know,
a phone.
if you shoot,
and
if you have to use a phone.
Right. We've got phone covered, and actually it kind of got covered first because of the videos, but then we also have digital cameras covered, and it talks about, you know, setting your camera the highest image quality. That's the largest file size, you know, different things like making sure it's not being optimized for the web. If it gets optimized for the web, they've decreased the quality of that image, and it's not going to be the quality that you could have if it hadn't been optimized. It'll be a bigger
Right.
file, yes, and if it was in website language, it would take longer to load when you're, you know, looking at it on a device. But at the same time, that's where the quality is going to come in for the judges to see the detail and for them to be published in Wildfowl Carving Magazine. They'll never have to come back to you except for maybe information you might want to add if your pieces win or they want. I mean, already you've got, we could do one-man shows, no, women shows, but we could do one artist shows where, you know, we showcase the artist who over the last 4 years or 3 years or 4 events has entered 27 winning entries. And, you know, we can do these different kind of vignettes and venues for the carvers. But mostly what we want to do is promote wildfowl carving, and having good photos will be good for the magazine, for the web, and for the judges.
I think this is so important, this area right here,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of obstacles are going to be people not really photography, you know, taking photographs of their work. This should be like really, and it's kind of buried. And if it's like somewhere, go to this page, because I never thought about the box
Right.
example, and that's so simple.
It is.
Like, why didn't I think of that? But I think maybe that needs to really be highlighted, because maybe
Well, I
people
can
don't.
make it
take
bigger
photos.
on the home page. It is on the home.
Good idea.
page.
I go to this because this is going to tell you exactly how to.
I've got it right there at the bottom of the home page. Lori and I are both of the same belief that as many ways to the same place as we can create for people to get there is a good idea. So
Yeah.
we'll also be posting things like this page to Facebook, so that it'll be a direct link and say, tell people this is where you need to go and read on how to do this. So between now and February 12th, we'll have to get that front and center for people to see. So is
Great.
there any other questions? I know there's a lot of food for thought here. We have
A lot of information out there.
Yeah, it's been a long time. If you wanted to judge, we've made accommodations for that. We've taken out for now the critiques tab because there's nothing to critique right now. But like I said, in the future, if you
Written.
competed in the championship, you'll have the opportunity to ask for a critique from the judges. Now, most of the time, open carvers or, you know, top level carvers don't really want to hear the opinion of the judges, but maybe they do, and that opportunity will be there for them.
So,
Unless,
all
of course, they
we're going
win.
An hour and a half.
I think
So,
that's
We're
important.
going on an
area.
hour and a half, and I think we should try and wrap it up.
yeah.
Yeah, that's an important area, because I think a lot of people that enter this want to hear the results and why. And if there's something that can be done later,
There's
it could be
no
a,
shame in asking. There is no shame in asking. What's wrong with my bird?
Dumb
Why
question.
didn't I do as well as I thought? Or I've even been known to ask what I could do better when I won best in show. That's really a good thing to do because you can always do something
Yeah.
better. So,
Yep.
okay, well, is there anything else before we finish off? We really appreciate, I keep saying I, and it really is Jeff and Lori and I, especially me and Lori. Jeff's he's been there and had a lot of input and of course helped with the financials on all of this. Not all of it, but all of us have invested our money in this because we believe in it, and we're well over
Jeff's been our
10,000
rock.
in money, just cash alone for software, not our sweat equity yet is even counted in that. So, but we
And
believe
Jeff has
it.
seen a few tears too.
Yes, he saw tears the day that we decided.
He's our rock.
When they canceled the world championships, I looked at Jeff and started crying and said, wildfowl carving is going to end if we don't do something. We've got to do something. I need to do this. And he was right behind me. He said, let's do it. And I thought, who do I know that could help in this? I needed to know how to build websites the way they do them today. And I called Lori, or actually I texted her and messaged her, and she was a little bit, I don't know. But then after I said what I've been telling you guys, she says, actually, I don't ever get to go to the shows because I have to stay home with my husband. I would love to have the ability to compete online.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people who cannot go to the shows. There's a lot of judges who can't go to the shows that could do it virtually. And we might be able to see some judges that we haven't seen for a long time if we can get them involved again. So a lot of people
I think
can't
this is
travel.
great.
Hey,
I think
you know,
it's-
they say out of bad things, good things happen. This is a great open door, different ways, right? Different
It's
avenues.
COVID carving.
COVID carving.
Well, look out, if you take example, I don't know if you guys watch America's Got Talent.
Yeah, I don't, but go ahead.
But try not to.
This year, how they did it, they had, it's you perform and you judge, and it was all done virtually, some of it. But for this, because the way shows are going, I mean, we all love to go to shows if we can. I mean, we lost the one in San Diego a few years ago,
Yeah.
and that was coming up here in the month of February. That was always a highlight.
Oh,
Of
it
me.
He
was.
probably could have saved it.
Absolutely.
So something like this can get more people involved in competing, even though we still want to go to shows. We still want them to happen.
Yes,
We like the
absolutely.
camaraderie of everybody and seeing people, but this is another avenue, I think, for people that can't do that.
I agree.
I mean, for years, I couldn't go to the Worlds just because it was cross country. I didn't like to fly, and work and everything was tough to go to the Worlds. But this is something that is great. I think that can really, I think,
It will make it affordable. It'll make it affordable for everyone to compete.
I mean, we want to go to shows. We want to have that opportunity. We want to do all that. This is
Right.
just,
We want to talk to people.
I think it's going to grow the art.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I-
and that was the whole deal, is not because, I think back of Bobby Sutton. I mean, what a promoter of wildfowl carving, and I think he's helping us. I think those that have gone the great beyond are pulling some strings for us because, like Ashley and there's so many, but we, for this thing to get off the ground, we're going to need everybody's help, and I think we're getting help from places we don't know, because things are all coming together.
Yes, finally. It's been a long haul, and there's been a lot of dashes, disappointments. It's like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to go back and get more. That means more money, But
No, we appreciate everybody's help, everybody and their interest.
yes. And
Well,
if you
Jeff,
can
I
spread
hope
the
we-
word.
I hope you all know how much we appreciate the hard work you guys are doing. So,
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
'cause I'm sure carvers everywhere.
Thank you.
Both on this side.
Thank you.
Well, spread the word and let people know this is really gonna happen, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be an alternative until the brick and mortars are back, and then once they are back, it'll still be an alternative. You'll be able to actually, should it fall on the same weekend of another competition you're attending with your birds, you'd still be able to possibly win at both venues on one weekend, right?
Yeah.
Where's the money?
It needs to go, this needs to go virtual. You need to go virtual with this really quick. Because like I said earlier, there's 6 of us that are group texting constantly. You know, ever since the world's was canceled, we were, just sharing our carving tips and pictures and things of our in progress work. But they don't really know. We haven't talked about this. I was kind of like seeing this on Facebook and really didn't know what it was all about. But I think it needs to get out there really quick, and I'll do my best to try to promote it within our group.
Fantastic.
You can spread it out, but I think it's great. I think this is going to really grow into something good. Over the years, it may be something really popular. Really,
Well,
really.
That's what we're hoping, long term.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tell my
Well,
students.
everybody, let's pray for Monty real quick. Please bring health to him, and God bless
touch
his
him with your
family.
healing hand, dear Lord.
Yep. And
This is-
we'll see. I'm going to schedule this again for Saturday at 11 o'clock again. Oh, my.
Does that work for everyone?
Was that
is
too
that-
bad for Anthony?
Right now, I'm scheduled to go duck hunting next Saturday. If I don't go, I'll be
Okay,
here.
and that's fine. Even your input through Messenger,
Mhm.
in any way, emails, whatever. Even if
Okay.
you need to pick up the phone and call.
All right.
All right. Appreciate
Enjoy the hunting.
every one of you for being here, and we will see you next week if you can be here, because we will be.
All right.
Sounds
All right.
Happy New Year.
Take care.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye now.